There is a moment that happens quietly, not in a hospital, not in a lab, not under bright lights. It happens at your kitchen table, late at night, when you open a file filled with letters you barely understand. C's, T's, A's, G's, a raw DNA file, your biological source code. And somewhere inside that endless wall of data is a tiny genetic switch called MTHFR. For some people, it means almost nothing. For others, it becomes the first breadcrumb in a mystery they have been living for years. Low energy, brain fog, mood swings, strange reactions to supplements, a feeling that the body is working, but not efficiently. This video is not a diagnosis, it is not a promise, but it is the beginning of a map. Because MTHFR is not just a gene people argue about online. It is part of a system your body uses every second to process folate, recycle homocysteine, make methyl groups, support DNA, and keep certain biochemical traffic moving. Think of your body like a city at night. Every cell is a building. Every nutrient is a delivery truck. Every enzyme is a worker on shift. Most nights, the city runs smoothly. Packages arrive, waste leaves, repairs happen before sunrise. But if one intersection slows down, everything behind it can start to stack up. MTHFR sits near one of those intersections. Its full name is methylene tetrahydrofolate reductase, which sounds like someone dropped a chemistry textbook down a staircase. But its job is easier to understand than its name. MTHFR helps convert folate into a form your body can use in the methylation cycle. And methylation is one of those invisible processes that sounds boring until you realize it is tied to DNA regulation, neurotransmitter metabolism, detox pathways, cardiovascular markers, and normal cell function. It is not everything, but it is upstream of a lot. Here is where the story gets interesting. You have two copies of the MTHFR gene, one from each parent. The two most talked about variants are C677T and A1298C. If you upload raw DNA data to a tool like Genetic Genie, you might see results like normal, heterozygous, or homozygous. In plain English, that means you may have no variant, one copy of a variant, or two copies. And this is where people often panic. They see red on a report. They read the word mutation. They think, something is broken. But that is too simple. A common MTHFR variant is not a disease. It is not a life sentence. It is not proof that every symptom you have comes from one gene. Genes are not commands. They are tendencies. Environment matters. Diet matters. Sleep matters. Stress matters. Medications, alcohol, gut health, B vitamin status, thyroid function, kidney function, and inflammation can all influence the same terrain. The gene is a clue, not the verdict. But clues can still matter. Imagine two people eating the same diet, living through the same stressful year, sleeping the same 5 hours a night. One body keeps up. Barely, but it keeps up. The other starts to fall behind. More brain fog, more fatigue, more sensitivity, more, I don't feel like myself, but my basic labs look normal. That second person may not have a single dramatic problem. They may have a bottleneck. And MTHFR is one possible bottleneck. The most famous variant, C677T, has been studied because it can influence folate processing and homocysteine levels, especially when folate status is low. Homocysteine is an amino acid that your body normally recycles. When it rises, it can become a useful marker to discuss with a clinician. But here's the part that needs honesty. The internet often says, if you have MTHFR, you cannot process folic acid. Current public health guidance does not support that blanket claim. The CDC says people with common MTHFR variants can process folate, including folic acid, and that folic acid intake matters more for blood folate levels than MTHFR status alone. So why do so many people still care about MTHFR? Because some people do feel different when they change forms of B vitamins. Some people feel better with methylfolate. Some feel overstimulated. Some need less. Some need cofactors first. Some need to stop guessing and look at labs. That is the entire point. Your DNA report is not a supplement shopping list. It is a reason to ask better questions. Questions like, what is my homocysteine? What are my B12 and folate markers? Do I feel worse with methylated vitamins? Am I low in riboflavin, B12, choline, or other nutrients involved in these pathways? Am I trying to force one pathway while ignoring sleep, stress, protein, alcohol, Or medications? This is why MTHFR is powerful and dangerous as content. Powerful because it gives people language for something hidden. Dangerous because it is easy to turn that language into fear. The better frame is this. MTHFR is a chapter in your biology, not the whole book. In Ben Lynch's Dirty Genes framework, MTHFR is presented as a methylation-centered gene, one part of a broader network that also includes genes like COMT, DAO, GST, GPX, NOS3, and PEMT. That matters because people rarely have one clean issue. They have patterns. One person may have MTHFR plus COMT sensitivity, meaning aggressive methylfolate could make them wired or anxious. Another may have DAO issues and react to high histamine foods. Another may have GST or GPX patterns that change how they think about oxidative stress and recovery. The story is not, take this pill. The story is, learn the terrain. So how do you actually start? First, get raw genetic data from a reputable, low-cost genetic test that allows data download. You are not looking for ancestry entertainment here. You are looking for a raw data file. Second, upload that file to a tool like Genetic Genie. It can generate methylation and detox reports that show common SNPs, including MTHFR C677T and A1298C. Third, do not treat the colors like a diagnosis. Treat them like road signs. A red result does not mean disaster. A green result does not mean perfect health. A yellow result does not mean you need a cabinet full of supplements by Friday. Fourth, pair the report with real-world markers. Homocysteine is one of the big ones to ask about. B12, folate, methylmalonic acid, complete blood count, thyroid markers, and other labs may matter depending on the person and symptoms. Fifth, if you are pregnant, trying to become pregnant, managing a medical condition, or taking medication, bring a qualified clinician into the conversation. This is especially important with folate and B vitamins. Because the goal is not to hack your genes. The goal is to stop fighting your body in the dark. Picture that city again. The streets are not broken. The workers are not lazy. The lights are not out. There is just a traffic pattern you did not know about. For years, you may have been adding more cars to the road. More caffeine, more supplements, more pressure, more late nights, more push through it. But once you see the map, the strategy changes. You stop asking, what is wrong with me? And you start asking, what is my body asking for? That is the beginning of genetic wellness. Not fear, not obsession, not turning every symptom into a SNP, just a better map. In the next video, we will go deeper into how to get a low-cost genetic test. Download your raw data, upload it into Genetic Genie, and read your first MTHFR results without spiraling. Because your DNA is not your destiny. But sometimes, it is the clue that finally makes the story make sense.